Let's go.
It's your back, it dey keep passing. It dey bring out the best thing. I dey feel your recipe. Make you give me that recipe. Fine, fine. Yeah, you fine. You so divine. I dey feel you die.
All right, people, welcome back to a new episode of Awesome Entertainment. We checking out this little article about House of Dragons, man. It says House of Dragons new Rhaenyra tease reaffirms season 3 is sticking to its divisive changes, and that's a good thing. Well, we'll find out. I love this show. I like season 1 the most, obviously. Season 2, the first 4 episodes were hitting so hard, and then this show fell off the map. They were just delaying, wasting time. I think it was because the writers' strike, because the same thing happened to From, and I don't know what happened to these actually good shows, but let's go ahead and go through this article. House of the Dragon, new Rhaenyra tease confirms the HBO prequel series is sticking with its story, and that's a good thing. House of the Dragon Season 3 is well underway with filming already in progress for hopeful 2026 release. The pressure has never been higher for the series to perform following Season 2's mixed reviews. It's not mixed reviews, it was a mixed show. The first half was fire, the second half was trash, and we didn't understand what was going on. Fans of the Game of Thrones prequel series have broad range of emotions on what went wrong with House of Dragons Season 2, and a massive fan of both George R.R. Martin's books and television medium, I resonate with most of them. That said, I still believe there's only one course for the show going forward. Emma Darcy, leads House of Dragons cast as Rhaenyra Targaryen. The 33-year-old actor spoke recently with Award Radar about the process of filming Season 3, regarding how they use source material book Fire and Blood as reference to inform their performance. Well, at least they're reading the books, you know what I'm saying? I hate how Marvel is like, yo, don't read the comic books and act it out or write the story. Like, bro, you got to base this shit off the books. Like, at least they are doing the little bit they can. Any sort of historical document tends to be deeply subjective and requires context for understanding. I feel that that part of our job is to offer some of that context, but it's funny. I wouldn't go back to the book now, possibly until we finish this journey. House of the Dragon now needs to run its course. Dang. Who said that? Why? How y'all got a quote up here and you don't tell us who said that? Oh, she said that. Huh. So she feeling like Marvel. They ain't going back to the books. She said, I read it once, I ain't going back. I don't understand that. I guess, she read it once, though. I want you to read it once. I feel like you can get the picture. House of the Dragon Season 3 is sticking to its guns. What a crazy picture for y'all to choose this. Like, this is the guns? Niece, link up? Like, nah, switch that up. Switch up these guns. We don't need that. That's crazy. Essentially what Emma Darcy is saying is that House of the Dragons isn't here to tell the same story as Fire and Blood. It's providing a subjective contextualization of a fictional historical text. This has always been the case, with the show writers taking plenty of creative liberties and bringing the book to life. So basically what they're saying is we're not sticking to the source material. We're going to switch it up. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't hate it. But if it's not good, then it looks stupid, right? If you have the recipe written down and it's good, and you're like, I'm going to switch it up, and it comes out trash, you look stupid. So you don't want to do that. I mean, as long as it's good. It wasn't good at the end of the second season, but the first half was fire. With 2 seasons in, it's too late for House of the Dragon to try to turn things around and become something it's not. At this point, they have to move forward for better or for worse. At this point, Emma Darcy can't use Fire and Blood as a resource to contextualize their character because House of the Dragons has already deviated from the text. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. This means heading into House of the Dragon Season 3, audiences can expect more changes. Rhaenyra will likely ride Sheepstealer. Daemon will continue to ponder White Walkers and the Third Eye Raven. Yo, Daemon, they wasted Daemon. Let's talk about that, man. Y'all wasted that dude in Harrenhal hallucinating. Okay, he was hallucinating for 1-2 episodes. Okay, I'm cool with it. Once it hit episode 3, I was like, he finna do this the entire season, and he sure did. I said, just write the character off on a journey if you ain't gonna use him. Write him off on a journey. He can come back later. If you're going to have him just hallucinating, everything he sees is a dream. It doesn't even matter. What's the point of that? Like, quit. Nah, man, quit doing that, man. Just have him take off. Man, he can ride off on a horse. He can ride off on a freaking dragon. The dude has a dragon. Have him go off on a journey. Come back later if you're just going to waste him. I forgot where I was at. This means heading into House of the Dragon Season 3, audiences can expect more changes. Oh, yeah. Daemon will continue to ponder White Walker and Third Eye Raven. Rhaenyra and Alicent might continue to have more complicated relationship than book readers expected. Man, their relationship is complicated, but at the end of the day, it's not complicated. You got to kill your best friend. That's where she's at. That's where she's at. That's what Alicent started it. Rhaenyra, you got to finish it. You know what it is. House of the Dragons angles was always subjective Fire and Blood adaptation. While a fair amount of the story changes have received divisive responses in House of the Dragon, there have also been plenty that work well. For example, the Aegon's Dream prophecy has provided book readers with a renewed supply of material to theorize about, especially given this was Martin's idea. See, and that's the best part about all this shit. Marvel, DC, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. Give me theory. Give me shit to theorize. You know what I'm saying? Give me points to talk about so we can pick each other's brain. That's why I like Severance so much. You know what I'm saying? Give me something to talk about other than how trash your show was. Like, Sinners did that. Sinners did a good job when they were talking about how the best day of his life was the worst day of his life. That could happen for a lot of people in different ways. And it makes you think. It makes you, think deeper about life and shit. You know what I mean? I don't need a lesson. I don't need a motherfucker to look like me. Another obvious example is Viserys Targaryen, who Martin even admitted was more compelling than the version he wrote in the text. Actor Paddy Considine brought the Targaryen monarch to life in a way no one saw coming, and it goes to show that the writers are more than capable of embellishing the material. With 2 seasons in the books, House of the Dragons belongs to the team working on it at HBO. It's unfortunate that George R.R. Martin and a portion of the audience pool aren't satisfied with the show's ideas, and this is the process of adaptation, especially when it involves a book formatted like Fire and Blood. Fire and Blood isn't a full-length novel like A Song of Fire and Ice books, and the writers are forced to fill in gaps with supplementary material. There are changes that are harder to explain, but they are tied to the subjective perspective aspect. Crucially, season 1 proved this method could work. The issue is, you're talking about we need to fill it in with supplemental material. How about some battles? How about some fights? You didn't have to think, you know what I mean? You didn't have to put no dialogue. Just put some good sword fights in there. Put some action in that shit. Why don't you supplement it with some fucking dragons burning some people up? Like, that's what we wanted to see, and that's what we didn't get to see. And y'all were trying to supplement it with Daemon hallucinating, which means absolutely nothing. People having dreams usually means absolutely nothing in the show. Unless it's telling you, what you need to have, and then it's an easy cop-out. Like, nobody likes that. It's too late for House of the Dragon to become more book accurate, and that's okay. Something I've been saying since House of the Dragon Season 2 was on air is that we can't really tell if the changes they make are good or bad until we've seen the full scope of things. At this point, the only course for the audience is to accept that this is going to be Fire and Blood brought to life one-to-one. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think everybody expects that. House of the Dragon Season 3 isn't going to suddenly become Dance of the Dragons adaptation some fans might have hoped for. We might get to see more epic battle sequences, which are hard to go wrong with even if the story elements aren't working together. However, the character drama is going to pick up right where Season 2 left off. I mean, we still need the Dance of the Dragons. We need dragon battles, bro. That's what people are here for. Why would you call it House of the Dragons and be like, it ain't gonna be the dragon fight y'all expected? Then don't name it that. You know what I'm saying? Name it House of the Drama. You know what I mean? I do like the drama though. HBO and the writing staff of the House of the Dragon made their bed and now they're lying in it. Audiences are judging every story change as the adaptation is heading toward the ending they expect, but that's likely not where the story is headed. When all 4 seasons are completed, we can reflect on them and examine the narrative changes that made it better or worse than the book. Yes, we will. We will. Actually, we won't, because I probably won't read the book, so I'm not going to do that. Let's check out some of the comments. Robert. It diverges quite a bit from Fire and Blood, but this is just one story in that book. The Targaryen Civil War and the liberties taken with the source material aren't too awful. In the book, during this period, a lot of the history is recounted, albeit in a more subversive manner, by the court fool, the dwarf mushroom, who wasn't included in the show. Through the show, we can see some of the scenarios playing out in a way that cleverly blends the various theories about what actually happened and what was perceived as happening. The book being historical chronicle that covers centuries of Targaryen rule, told primarily through the perspective of future Grand Maester, who alludes to various word-of-mouth sources as well as previous written documentation to give the reader Did this dude chat GPT his comment? For me, I prefer the books, but I love the cinematic translation of all time. Yeah, bro. Yeah, he said, Robert, your comment is a better than the article it's commenting on. Yeah, this dude definitely read the books. He had a little too much information. I'm gonna need him to break some of that down. Maybe I should read the books. Robert got me convinced. Let's see, and that's a good thing. Yeah, they want to destroy Martin's work. These garbage writers think they can improve the show with wokeness. Wokeness is such a weird thing to be obsessed about. Are you okay? I don't know if it's wokeness. I think it's just people want to do their own thing. You know what I mean? You don't want to just put out what this dude did and they're like, man, you just copy this shit. No, I want to do my own thing. So I really don't knock writers for doing that, especially if it's like, we switching up writers. It's like, why you switch up the story? Because I want to write my own stories. Like, I don't want to write someone else's story, then they get credit for it. So I get it. I don't think it's always wokeness. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's always that. Anyway, I hope they do a better job than they did in the second half of, season 2. Do more like season 1. First 4 episodes of season 2. Fire. Do that again. Whatever y'all was doing last time, take it out. You know what I'm saying? If you need to waste somebody's time, have him train. Have Damon train it. Fight some swords. Get better. There's so many other things you can waste our time with. Dragonflight, training montage. Like, there's so many other things you can waste our time with. Don't waste our time with hallucinations, especially if he's banging his mom, which was weird as fuck. Like, bro, come on now. Y'all can think of some better shit than that. Y'all got to be able to think of some better shit than that. All right, man. If y'all like the video, please hit like, subscribe. Go get you a Trust Method shirt. I'm out.
Don't play with my patience, man, they gone with the flow when they tryna fake it. That's not the way I roll, that's not the combination. You start off with the dough before you start the conversation. No one start the salutations, man, don't play with me. I'm coming from a place they would hate to be. I'm going through a phase you would hate to see. They say this life's a trip, ain't no telling where it's taking me. When you on the edge and you make your next move, better be your best. Before you throw it to the depths, better reinvest. Man, I count every moment and count every step, so I know I'm blessed. Now it's